Alright, hello and welcome to the Steins Gate episode 20 review, episodic reviews here, just casual, the core of the episodes. We had the Mocha episode last time trying to undo her text. We figured out what it was and she has swapped sides now. We need to track down FB to undo her text. And now we have the IBN 5100 location on this world line. So we get a recap of Mocha telling the location and the building, the coin locker stuff. Alright, so 2010, 8, 12, and 0041. Okabe runs off with a crowbar to just go at the locker, but Makise stops him in his tracks and demands an explanation. Okabe fills Makise in on everything. It's pretty nice that she wants to know everything that's going on and is all concerned. Makise ponders he may only get the IBN 5100 by going back to the original world line. Okabe is kind of down about it, but Makise is there for him, pointing to a positive strategy. Okabe ponders to stake out the lockers in order to find FB. He's going to stalk the baddies. Makes sense. Chances are they would take the IBN 5100 to their leader. Mocha meets with Okabe. She wants to meet FB too. Okay. Okabe calls Makise. Makise is upset that he is trusting her, considering she is still seemingly much of a threat to them, considering what we know of what happens. And Mayuri reveals to Makise she is sad for the distance between her and Okabe. And then we get a double toot-a-roo. Toot-a-roo. Mr. Braun ponders Okabe's decent life with friends. Okabe reads Mocha's email from FB. FB calls Mocha M4. Only Mocha and FB know that title of her. And sends Mocha comforting words in a motherly way. We get to 2010, 8, 08, 13, and 1325. Okabe and Mocha track the IBN 5100 being taken by a man with a neck tattoo symbol thing. Mocha thinks FB is female once again. IBN 51 handed off. Okabe loses the trail, so Okabe has to time leap back to 2010, 08, 13, and 14, 11. Okabe photographs each exchange from person to person of the IBN 5100 for better memory's sake, I guess. Mr. Braun meets with the handoff person. Interesting. Which I think that was slowly dished out. Because I think they were in a car, and then I think they showed a car in front of whomever, and it eventually ends up with Mr. Braun. Okabe time leaps back to 2010, 08, 13 at 16:45. Okabe and Mocha stalk Mr. Braun this time. They stalk him out in the middle of the night, trying to see what happens with everything. Mr. Braun delivers the package to his shop, and Mocha never has seen him before. Okabe wonders his part in all of this. Mocha ponders Okabe's harsh words to her prior of her own undoing by herself occurring. And then the stakeout continues. Okabe photographs Mr. Braun delivering the package at night hours to another individual, and the package eventually gets flown out of the Marita Airport Terminal 1. The plane is bound for France, headed to CERN. Okabe finds no woman they saw, that fits the bill. Makise gets all upset that Okabe never called her and filled her in on the progress and if he's okay and all that. Very interesting sign. Good stuff. Claims Mayuri cares and misses him. So she kind of tells how Mayuri feels so distant. Okabe tells Makise it is confrontation time. That FB has been near everyone the whole entire time. Okabe, Makise, and Moeka meet up with Mr. Braun. Okabe asks, just directly, he asks him, Mr. Braun, of his connection to FB. They want to meet with her. And this is just a meeting, I think, in a residence type section of, I guess, the first floor, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe it's his separate house. I don't know. Anyhow, point blank, his response to that question is that he makes some sort of statement, and within that statement, Mr. Braun's, he calls Moeka M4. And what did they just establish earlier? Only her and FB know that. Mr. Braun asks who invented CRTVs. Ferdinand Braun, FB. Mr. Braun is FB. FB acted motherly to fool Moeka and the others. He told people what they needed to hear. Lonely ones that are naive. Moeka was useless once she delivered the IBM 5100. Apparently, Mr. Braun is Russian. Moeka asks Okabe of the first D-mail, as she was never told about it. Okabe realizes undoing it will bring them to the world line in which CERN is gone. And for Mayuri... Oh, here's the big meat and potatoes. Why is it there, though? Hold up. I'm confused. I just want to make sure I'm not dishing out a Mondo spoiler. Okay, yes. Makise. Yeah, it's later, Makise. Yeah, that... oh man, I almost said the wrong thing at the wrong time. For some reason, that's at the wrong spot. So I'll put it at the end here. Yeah. Maybe it's at the right spot. Maybe I just botched it. I don't know. So we'll just try and deal with it in a non-spoilery way. Alright. I moved it. I hope that is correct and that it was just in the wrong spot. Okabe tells Mr. Braun that Suzuha would not want this kind of stuff going on, and for him to not honor her memory is horrible. FB backstory: Ferdinand Braun, he himself as well had very harsh condition. He lived in the sewers with rats in the winter, and he ate very little as a kid to survive. And I think he made a comment in there that the rats would try and eat him. Good gosh, man. Come on. Wow. Horrible. But anyhow, someone had helped him, and he had to do a world of bad things in order to make it in life. So, FB is depressed over the control that others have over him now. And they go off away from Nay, his daughter, to talk about things. But FB, at this point, pulls out a pistol and aims it at Moeka. And he shoots her. Now, this kind of a scene, a little criticism creeps in. There was no blood shot anywhere. You know, there was no bullet spot, so that was just completely censored. And I think that was kind of silly. The least they could have done was, at the very least, have a spot, you know, a red spot on her on the ground when Okabe goes over, but preferably during the scene in which she's hit and the slow-mo, preferably there should have been a like blood splatter a bit. That would have got it really across, but yeah, during the scene you're like, where was she hit? Where was she hit? Doesn't show us. So, at least from what I recall. So, it's a minor criticism. FB didn't want her to live. Says he isn't a dog, and he wanted to run. And that's not, all this is not good for Nay. He wanted her to protect it and not to get into this, any of this. But, however, if he tries to run, they'll get Nay and do her in. So he finds that there's only one way for him to escape. One way for him to escape. Okabe tries to stop him and fails. It's not enough in time. He points it at himself and does himself in. At this point, Okabe is overwhelmed by everything and seeing everything, and he hacks. I think, you know, the hacking in media is usually too frequent and overutilized in a comedy sense, but this was, I guess, partly fitting, and yet of all the things he's already seen already, you would think he would be kind of immune, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Not even a very small, or not even much of a critique at all, but Moeka is now dying. She asks Okabe for forgiveness, and Makise rushes Okabe on the phone to get FB's phone because everything's on the line. He has to do the D-mail bit. Okabe sends the D-mail back from FB to convince Moeka not to steal the IBM 5100. The divergence meter changes. 0.571046. Okabe finds Moeka fine without the IBM 5100 for her boss put it on hold. Whew. Okabe contacts Ruka of the IBM 5100. They have it now, so they'll be able to reobtain it. Back where we were a long time ago. So we're undoing the entire mess that they got into. We're almost there, almost there. Okabe brings the IBM 5100 to the lab. Daru had gone to Kamimon. I think it's silly for them to have to name it something else, but apparently you can't say Comic-Con in whatever different commercialized media, I guess. Okabe, he needs Daru, so considering Daru went to Kamimon, Okabe time leaps back to 2010-08-13 at 15:27 and begs Daru to stay at the lab. Please remain here. I need you. This is super important. Daru stays, I think, after being bribed a great deal. Okabe explains everything to all of them. Makise drinks pepper, which is, by the way, the best drink in the world, according to scientists. And so long as you don't mind it, the acid destroying your teeth, and don't want to keep them. Other than that, I don't think pop is the healthiest stuff. I would imagine water's world's better, but nonetheless, she shares one with Okabe, or gives him one, whatever the case. Gives him one, so she drinks one, gives one off. And best drink in the world. Yep, good stuff. Very good stuff. Tastes really good, but unfortunately not the best for us or our teeths, as far as I'm concerned and aware. Daru is tasked with hacking into CERN, or rather re-hacking into CERN, as we did prior. And Daru does manage to successfully hack into CERN, and now, after all this, everything, now we can delete the data. They can delete the data on themselves within CERN's network to make the final needed change to save Mayuri's life for good, and bring them back to the original world line, which is past the 1% divergence, saving the world from dystopia to utopia. So there's like a mini celebration of relief going on here. Okabe compliments Makise of her work on the time leap machine. She blushes. He mentions kind of mentions them, and she kind of asks, but he cuts it off. So she kind of wonders of it. Kind of a little illusion. And like I say, Daru announces he's successfully hacked into CERN. So now they are able to delete the bit on them that CERN has, removing them from their watching, and that will bring them back to the world line where Mayuri does not die. It'll be the big enough change also where CERN doesn't rule the world. Otherwise, we're just heading towards it. It is at this point that the presentation is really 200% fine job. And this sucker it just, it's like everything kind of made you look this way, and now they're gonna show you what's this way type of a deal. Moeka asks Okabe about the first D-mail, as she was never told about it. Time slows down. Okabe starts panning towards her. Realization dawning on him. He is stunned and shocked, in awe. Everything. He realizes the bigger picture here. He just remembers the bigger picture here. And to spring this on us at this point in the show is just so hype-worthy and darn good. This is the biggest dilemma ever. Biggest dilemma ever. We were so focused on undoing everyone's D-mail. Ferris, Ruka, the Suzuha one, and all that mess. And now we get this springboarded on us. Moeka asks Okabe about the first D-mail, as she was never told the contents of it, what was said, and that pops the balloon. Okabe realizes what will happen if they fix everything. Because by this point, we have forgotten the first part of the show, where we originally were. Everything about it. Everything. Undoing this world line. Going back to the original. Will bring them to a world line in which CERN is gone, which is great. Their monopoly on time travel, all that is gone. Gone. Completely gone. And it will be a world line in which Mayuri is safe and secure and doesn't get eliminated. But for CERN to be eliminated and Mayuri to be safe in the original world line equates to, if we go back there and everything's fixed, that world line had Makise dying. Remember the radio building and the pool of blood? You talk about a dilemma. You talk about a cliffhanger. This is it. This is the real deal. This is gold. Absolute gold. To spring that on us at this point in the game. What a dilemma. Good grief. And she's right next to him. So now, we have one heck of a choice. Okabe has one heck of a choice. He can choose Mayuri or Makise. He can choose only one. We can only have the one world line. So he has to pick. Save the world. Makise gets killed off. Allow CERN to have a monopoly on time travel. Allows Makise to be alive, but Mayuri dies off. Oh my. What the heck are you supposed to do? What would anyone do? Does he tell Makise? Does he keep it from her? This and that. Holy moly. You talk about a darn moment of the show. This was hype-worthy. This was very hype-worthy. Good stuff. All right. Well, we were ending off kind of brief there, but I was trying to have it stretch out a bit at the end here. So yeah. Fate of the world with one person living versus fate of the world with one person not living. Or rather, one gets killed off either way. He just has to choose between them. And how's he supposed to do that? How do you choose between two people? Obviously, the fate of the world would make those scales uneven. The fate of the world is more important, no matter who was in the position of having to be the sacrifice type of a deal. Mayuri or Makise, but we don't want Makise killed off either. Okabe sure don't. So, dilemma, cliffhanger, beautiful cliffhanger. Talk about wanting a marathon. And that part of the show, to see reactions, is gold. Because it kind of just dawns on everybody there. Or, you know, as they're saying it. So, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Very good writing. to spring this on us after we weren't thinking about it and distracting us with everything else. It's very interesting how they went about it. All the different texts being done and then having to undo everything that has been done. So we get just this grand adventure through all these world lines, and now we're brought into a choice of two world lines. CERN dead and Mayuri alive, or Makise dead and CERN alive. Boy, oh boy. Well, you wouldn't want to, but you eventually would have to go with the world line that doesn't have Makise alive. You would have to choose the world in which CERN never rules the world with time travel, and where Mayuri lives. So that's the obvious choice. But this kind of a reaction, it's going to cause a dilemma. She's a lab member. You can't have a lab member getting killed off, so it's just a wonderful, wonderful writing, making use of pretty much everything. Dilemma. Now we're going to have to explore the dilemma and see what happens. So anyhow, let me know your favorite moment of the episode. Mine is that Mondo hype-worthy cliffhanger reveal right there. That they sprang on us. Not necessarily a reveal, but they sprang it back on us about the original world line. Mayuri is dead in a pool of blood. Then that first text sent us into one in which she lived, remember, at the end of the first episode. So there's the difference. But given it that was the first episode, we completely forgot about the weight of the two world lines, at least that detail, and to have it just springboarded on us at this point is just awesome. Very awesome. That's my favorite moment of the episode, definitely. So anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more Steins Gate. I will see you up ahead. As always, take her cool until episode 21 of the review. Just casual. So